hell am I? Wait a minute. Hey there. I didn't see you. I have no clue where I am or how I got here, but I have a script here that says I'm here to rank some cryptids. So, let's get into it. Alright, we're somehow up here now. Let's look down at the list. Alright, yeah, it says number 10, British big cats. Now this one confuses me because it's just a bobcat or something. Look at the picture. I'm supposed to put a picture here. I'm not sure what's going on in the island of Tea over there in Britain, but that's not a cryptid. That's just a mountain cat. I'm not sure what to do with this. Now, I'll admit, the British are odd creatures, but I'm gonna have to say that, this is the reason that this one's going in 10, because it's just a bobcat, it's just a mountain cat. This is not a cryptid, this is a real creature that you can find in your backyard. Like, if you live in America, you can find these things roaming around, like the Appalachian area. These things exist, they're out there. These aren't mysterious creatures like the Sasquatch, which might not even be on this list, I'm not sure. But this is a cat, this is a feline. It's just a big one, like lions. Lions are still just felines. These exist, these aren't cryptids, and that's why this one belongs at number 10. Okay, here I am in the Library of Alexandria, pre-burning, I changed time. Next up for number 9, we have the Mongolian deathworm, in which its Mongolian name I'm not going to try to pronounce, but it translates to large intestine worm. It says it's supposed to exist in the Gobi Desert, and it is pursued by amateur cryptozoologists, which, if this thing was somehow real, I would not be hunting this thing down as an amateur cryptozoologist. This thing, it's called the Mongolian death worm. Death is in the name. If you're an amateur at this stuff, I wouldn't be hunting this thing down. If I actually believed this thing was real, I'd be scared. I would be scared. I wouldn't go to Mongolia. Does Mongolia even exist anymore? Hold on, I gotta look that up. Okay, I looked it up. Mongolia exists. But still, I'm stunned that an amateur cryptozoologist would hunt out a thing called the Mongolian death worm. Death worm. Okay, so apparently this first came to Western attention, over in the Americas and such, from a dude named Roy Chapman Andrews. He made a book in 1926 called On the Trail of Ancient Man. And I guess he found people talking about there was a Mongolian deathworm over in Mongolia, took it to heart, wrote a book, and now here we are with cryptozoology being a major thing in the world. But hey, that's why it's going at number 9, Here I am in the library post-burning. Next up, at number 8, we have the Beast of Bray Road. This is a werewolf-like creature from Wisconsin. From, what did it say? Elkhorn, Wisconsin. It's described as being 7 feet tall and having, rich blue eyes? Okay, no. It actually has glowing red or orange eyes and is covered head to toe in Jesus Christ, I'm leaving that in. Head to toe in fur, and reportedly is 6 to 7 feet tall, but we're gonna go with 7, 2.1 meters for my non-Americans, which is probably none of you. But yeah, 7 feet tall, covered in hair, dark glowing red or orange eyes, and sometimes quadrupedal, sometimes bipedal, and supposedly looking like a werewolf or a Bigfoot. Are we sure we didn't just see a furry in Wisconsin? Are we sure about that? Because I'm not. I'm not sure about that. I think there might have just been some fursuit owner in Wisconsin going out for a nighttime walk, and somebody saw it, and they got freaked. But that's why it's only number 7 on the list. So, where's this number 8? This is number 8. Don't know why I said 7. This is number 8. That's why it's number 8 on the list. Because it's just... If this is real, then, wow, werewolves exist. Shut up, Gary Mod notifications. I am enjoying my stay right now, but I'm trying to film something. Please get off the screen. Thank you. This is just a werewolf. So, if this does exist, that's also staying in. Werewolves are real. Yippee! Yay! Go have your furry fantasies as they rip out your organs and don't have hot, steamy, fun times with you. Or, the Occam's razor, more likely option is somebody who's either it doesn't exist at all, or somebody who's just having a fun time in their fursuit. Either way, I don't really care. That's why this is at number 8. It's very low on the list for a reason. Next up, for number 7, we've got something coming from the land of spiders and absolutely disgusting beasts known as the Australians. It's, you guessed it, Maryland. Just kidding, Australia. This, me in post-editing, put a picture of what it is. A yowie. So, a yowie is like, imagine Bigfoot, but small, but also large. A yowie is like a, not to use this again, but it's a Bigfoot, but some reports see it as a 6-foot tall little bestial creature, and then other reports say 12 fucking feet. I find that hard to believe that there is just a creature walking around that is 12 feet tall just in Australia, although given it's Australia, I'm not that shocked if it were real. So, some accounts of the yowie, however, if that is how you pronounce it, I don't really care, but the yowie, some people say that it looks like a hairy human, but its feet are just huge. Big win for all the feet lovers out there. I am not one of you, but good for you. And it says that its tracks are inconsistent. You know, sometimes it's got like 7 toes, sometimes it's got 18 toes, sometimes it's got Gary's mod. Shut up. All right, we're just gonna ignore it if that ever happens again. Sometimes it has a lot of toes, sometimes it has a few toes, sometimes it's got huge feet, sometimes it's got tiny feet, which to me that just kind of sounds like if you just saw 2 sets of tracks in the woods, it could have just been like a child and a grown man walking at different times. Like, it just coming up with the whole feet changing aspect just kind of seems like a way to say, hey, yeah, this thing exists. Because if it weren't for if the tracks were always the same, or at least really similar, I believe, okay, well, that's actually some evidence. But it's not. Because if the feet are always changing, that just kind of seems like a way to be a catch-all. Of it being like, oh, well, that had to have been a yowie. But, you know, that's besides the point. It also is described to have a large, wide, but very flat nose. If you're seeing this big 12-foot beast in your backyard, is your first instinct, let me stare at its toes and then stare at its nose? That rhymed. No, your first thought is, get away from this thing. Don't... If you came across a giant 12-foot tall ape beast in your backyard, are you going to stare at its face and its feet, you foot lover? You grime! You disgusting foot toucher! Yeah! Sorry about that. That got out of hand. Sorry. Some people report the yowie as being timid or shy, you know, keeping to itself. And then other times people report it as being violent and aggressive. And it wants to hurt you. There's also, a drawing depicted of it swallowing a man whole. Future me, put that up next to me. Thank you, if you did that, but you probably didn't. So, there was this guy, hold on, let me see, okay, so, according to, quote, top-end yowie investigator, Andrew McGinn, the death and mutilation of a pet dog near Darwin, Australia, could have been the result of an attack by the mythological yowie. The owner of the dog believed it was dingoes. How odd would it have to be? Imagine that family. You wake up early morning, you look out in the backyard, and you see your dog is just a puddle of red. It's disgusting. It's sad. Your children are crying. They're bawling in the bathroom. And then you call the police. And then along comes Andrew McGinn, top-end Yowie investigator. And he says, yes. This was most likely the work of this 12-foot mythological beast that I believe exists, but not many other people do. Get out of my house, Andrew. Supposedly, in 2010, a man from Canberra says he saw a youngin' covered in hair with lanky arms trying to steal his car from his garage. And when he talked about it with a friend, his friend said it could be an aborigine, which, for those of you who don't know, which I didn't prior to this, is the native people to Australia. That seems kind of fucked up. You see this lanky, bestial man trying to steal your car, and you think, yes. My first thought is, the person who lived here before us. Profiling much? Well, you know, this goes at number 7. I mean, the only reason it's really on this list is because I saw the name Yowie, and I was intrigued because it sounded funny. I think I've been pronouncing it wrong this entire time, but I don't really care. But, yeah. Yowie, Australia. Number 7. Good for you. Next up on our list for number 6, I think, yes, number 6, is the skunk ape, straight out of Florida. You know, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305. Okay, so, the skunk ape, well, kind of disappointing, honestly. It's just Bigfoot, but he lives out in the Floridian swamps in Southeast America. North America, that is. There's not really much to him. I mean, the only reason he's so high up on the list compared to these other things is that he's just got a funny name. He's the skunk ape, the swamp ape. He's funny. Some people call him Florida Bigfoot. Florida Bigfoot. There are entire attraction, amusement parks with, like, airboats dedicated to this man. You can pay real, cold, hard American cash to go out on a boat trip through a bayou, through a swamp, just in a vain attempt to find the skunk ape. Just let that title seep in for a second. Let that sink in. The skunk ape. I'm gonna say it 3 times, and you're just gonna do nothing. Close your eyes and listen. Skunk ape. Skunk ape. Skunk ape. How about a 4th time? Skunk ape. What the fuck is a skunk? Oh my god, I say that, not remembering that a skunk is a fucking animal. You know, black and white stripes, is really smelly. Yeah, no, those exist. Those exist, man. They're skunks. Hold on, I need a minute. Stupid. I belong to go in there for having such a stupid thought. I belong in that fire. I belong in there. Sorry about that. I'm okay now. Anyways, back to the skunk ape. It is reported to be a bipedal, human or ape-like creature, approximately around 5 to 7 feet tall, covered in mottled reddish-brown hair. Now, looking at some of the other stuff that we've looked at, the death worm, the beast of Bray Road, the Yowie, that thing was 12 feet tall. This thing is way more famous than any of those, to my knowledge. And yet still, it's only 5 to 7 feet tall. This thing is probably one of the least intimidating on this list. It's just... I mean, people are 5 to 7 feet tall. There are at least a few people that are 7 feet tall. It's not a shocking revelation. Also, it's just kind of... This guy makes me sad. He really just makes me sad. He's like Bigfoot's little brother. He's just kind of like, he's there. People know about him. People don't really care. He's dirty. He's gross. He's gunky. He's reported to just smell god awful. And he's only 5 to 7 feet tall. Sorry, Skunk Ape, but the only reason you're at number 6 is because I just kind of feel bad for you, man. Sorry, man. I gotta take pity on you, Skunk Ape. I just gotta. Alright. Listen, number 5. This is the top 5. These are the big 5. We're getting into more household names here. Number 5, we've got the Chupacabra. Literal translation, goat sucker. Chupa, sucker. Cabra, goats. That's very well quite a bit wrong, but still. Sucker of goats. Chupacabra. So, this guy comes from Hispanic America, Puerto Rico. He looks kind of alienish. In America, he's more depicted as looking kind of doggish, a little bit like a dog. But then, over in like more of its original area, you know, Hispanic America, it's more reptile-ish. I think it kind of looks like an alien. It looks like some sort of alienoid beast to me. But, sorry, I just take a swig of Pepsi. Gotta love Pepsi, you know. Free advertising. As if you haven't already heard of Pepsi. But yeah, so it supposedly typically inhabits like southwestern America, and coming back, it looks like an alien to me. Honestly, it kind of looks like something you'd see at a Smiling Friends. There should be a picture up right now. Tell me that doesn't remind you of some sort of gray, big black-eyed alien. So, the goat sucker, I'll just give you a second. Get your laughs out. I know you're laughing about that. Goat sucker. Goat sucker. So, basically, I'm sure this is a much more well-known thing, but this thing really exists because somebody, they like had a farm, and they had a couple of goats. They came outside one day to tend to their goats, and they saw that every single, I don't think it was every single one, I think it was a lot of their goats were just husks. It was the flesh, and they were drained of blood. They were completely hollow of blood. There was no blood in it. And so comes the legend of the Chupacabra, the goat sucker. Apparently, the Chupacabra came around in the middle of the night, got them goats, slurped all the juices out of them, and then skedaddled. Chupacabra, everybody. Number 5. Alright. Number 4. This is a big one. The Jersey Devil. Oh, sometimes known as the Leeds Devil. We can all guess where this one comes from. Arizona. It comes from New Jersey. It's from New Jersey. Okay, so the Jersey Devil is this little creature that is supposed to look like... It's got like a horse head, long neck, little almost like dog-like body, wings, tiny little clawed hands, hooves with spindly legs, and a thick tail that is in bold. Thick tail. And it supposedly is elongated and makes a blood-curdling scream. It says that. It's often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. So basically, the story behind this one is this woman, Mother Leeds, apparently. So basically, she was just a baby machine. She was pumping out kid after kid after kid after kid. She got to child number 13 and was like, ew, this thing is fucking disgusting. And it was insulting this baby like, how dare I birth this beast, this ugly little creature. I hate this thing from the bottom of my heart. I hate it. Which, first of all, lady, you gave birth to it. That's your son. That's your kid. So, start putting some respect on that man's name. But basically, it just got pissed, and it just kind of flew off right out the window. And now it's grown a bit, and now it's stuck in Jersey, and it's gonna get you. If you live in New Jersey, it's gonna get you. I mean, this thing is just... I'm looking at a picture of it right now. I'm gonna try and remember to also put a picture of this one up. This thing is just weird. It's got like goat horns, tiny little arms. It's got like a trident-esque tail tip. I don't know, but that's why it's at number 4. Because this one is also kind of a pity pick. Because I kind of feel bad for this thing. If this thing were real, I feel like I just kind of want to give it a hug. Like, I'm sorry your mom was so mean to you. I'm sorry you had to go through that, man. Anyways, number 4, Jersey Devil. Alright, ladies and gents, top 3. These are the important ones. As for number 3, we've got the Frogman, otherwise known as the Loveland Frogman. Now, I like this guy because I like frogs. They're funny. They're cute. And so, this guy is reportedly 4 feet tall and just is kind of like a bipedal frog. He's just kind of walking around. He's hanging out. He's not even like attacking anybody. And apparently, like, this guy claimed to have shot and killed him, this police officer. In all reality, it was most likely a gigantic tailless iguana. But still, like, what did the Frogman do to you? Why are you trying to shoot this guy dead? He's not attacking anybody. He's just trying to live his life. If I were a giant frogman, I'd also kind of want to stay out of the public light. I'd also want to just kind of exist in the woods. And also 4 feet tall. That's... You gotta feel bad for him. He's only 4 feet tall. People are trying to kill. They're trying to hunt him. They want his head on a pike, and I'm sorry. So apparently, this thing was first spotted by some businessman of some kind. He was driving along a road in 1955, and some people say it was in the month of May. Some people say it wasn't. He was heading out of the Branch Hill neighborhood when he saw 3 figures just standing on their hind legs along the side of the road. They were all like 3-4 feet in height. They had leathery skin and frog heads. But other versions of the story say it was underneath like a badly lit bridge, and apparently one was holding a wand over its head that fired a spray of sparks. So I kind of hope this one's real, because fucking Wizard Frogmen? That sounds like a sick-ass band name, first of all. But Wizard Frogmen, that's crazy. I want to find one of these, and I just want to hang out with it. I want him to show me some sick-ass magic tricks. I want to see him use that wand of his and spray sparks all over. Maybe burn my house down. But I wouldn't care, because I would get to see a real-life wizard frog. And so, for those reasons, he's going in my number 3. Alright. Number 2. We've got the one that, in my eyes, this is really like the originator. This is the special one. The Loch Ness Monster, otherwise known as Nessie. Sometime in Scotland, props to the Scots, love the Scottish, sometime in the Highlands of Scotland, somebody was going by the Loch Ness, which I think is like Lake Ness, Loch Ness, and they found this big, tubular creature. It had a long neck that was protruding out of the water with some sort of weird head, and it reportedly has 1 to 2 humps that come out of the water like some sort of liquid camel. And this thing is really just like the originator. This is, when you think of cryptid or cryptozoology, you will either think of Bigfoot or you will think of the Loch Ness Monster. And so, for that reason alone, Loch Ness Monster's got to go in number 2, because Nessie, you're special to me. You matter to me. And I want you to remember that. Alright, ladies and gents, it's time. The reason I made this entire video, all 26 or so minutes of it, the Fresno Nightcrawler. If there was a cryptid I wish existed, it's this one. I love the Fresno Nightcrawler. They look funny, they look kind of cute, honestly, and they're just silly. They're weird. They're odd. They're just pants with a head. Just a white... They almost look like a white sheet ghost. But instead of a ghost, it's pants. And they've been spotted. They're called Fresno Nightcrawlers because they're from Fresno. They were first seen in Fresno, but they've supposedly moved. These ones have, out of all the ones I've covered so far, they probably have the most evidence of existing, because these have full-on like security tape videos. Like you should search this up after you finish watching this video. Of course, you should stay to the end. Should stay to the end. So basically, the Fresno Nightcrawler, it was spotted in Fresno originally, and then supposedly has migratory patterns, as it has somehow been seen and has moved all the way up to Yosemite National Park, where there was security tape footage taken of it. And then supposedly it was also seen in Montana. But there's also a Polish man claiming to have seen it, and he says apparently a Polish guy took a videotape of the Fresno Nightcrawlers, but because his camera and he was horrible at holding a camera, it was very shaky, it's only seen for just a smidge of time. But apparently it has very similar bodily looks as the ones taped in Yosemite. Well, I mean, it's the Fresno Nightcrawler. These guys are funny. And so, purely for that reason, they're just going at number 1, because this is my ranking, and you're not changing that. So because I like them, they're going at number 1. Argue all you want, I do not care. Pepsi. Fresno Nightcrawlers, this video goes out to you. Keep crawling, keep night crawling.